Hello cats and kittens, MamaCatGamer here with another adventure through Aorzia with... Let me try that again. Hello cats and kittens, MamaCatGamer here with another adventure through Aorzia with Gavtia. We are doing the very last quest in the Shadowbringers expansion and then moving on to the patch quest today. This is one of my favorites. Turning my sound down there. Hi, kitty. You can't lean on my keypad here. No. Scoot over. Problem is, if she lays on him, she'll end up activating some of them. All right. We're going the wrong way. Speak with the Crystal Exarch. Here you go. My kitten was like going crazy earlier today. Apologies if I sound a little froggy today. I had this awful cold going on last week. Today's the first day I've felt halfway decent. Crystarium Gatekeep says, do you have business with the Crystal Exarch? Just say the word and I would be happy to escort you to the Ocular. Yes. Now let's talk to all our folks here first. Ystola says, I knew the Knights Blessed were amongst the revelers, but the Crystarium was so crowded I thought it safe to speak my true name. Poor Runar and his ilk were gripped with panic. As you may recall, it is customary not to reveal one's true name outside of family and ceremony. Yet when I hurried to explain that all present were like family, I was greeted with an outpouring of tears. An emotional people, the Blessed. Alize says, it would seem I didn't know my own limits. I had thought to push on till dawn, but my body had other plans. Still, I did enjoy the carousing while it lasted. Even I need to forget my cares every now and then. What I don't need is to wake up to Alfino smirking at my bedside. He said my face was a rare sight while I slept. Gods, I hope I wasn't drooling. Alfino says it would seem that the city is celebrated long into the night. Not that I would know, as embarrassing as it is to admit, I woke to find myself in the infirmary, apparently having collapsed from exhaustion. My aching pride was somewhat soothed by the sight of Alize asleep in the bed next to mine. She must have been just as weary. Long has it been since I've seen her face so peaceful in repose. 'Twas a rare, tranquil morning, made unforgettable by the sight of those clear blue skies. Reen says, oh, Gav, are you well? No ill after effects? To my eyes, you seem completely healed. It really is a miracle. Speaking of happy surprises, I was amazed to see the crowd that greeted our return. I hadn't realized just how many people we'd met along the way. Did you see their smiles? Right then and there, I vowed to do whatever I could to keep that joy from fading. Thancred says, people came from Malms around to join the festivities, but most seem to have stumbled home by now. Even so, I dare say Norvrant will echo to the sound of clinking mugs for some while yet. I thought to indulge in a little revelry myself last night until Urianger began to list all the names of my drunken conquests. I ended up drinking water. Water. Thancred, my goodness. Urianger says, the ending to this tale hath been a joyous one indeed. Myriad were the lessons learned, yet there is one of particular import. All right, so the ending to this tale has been joyous indeed. Many were the lessons learned, but there's one of particular importance. 'Tis imperative that I master magics to grant my feet purchase upon the water, or else allow me to part the sea at will. It's imperative that I master the magic needed to let me walk on water or part the sea at will. I must needs visit Bismarck in due course and scrub his teeth in thanks. Mayhap the airy arts of a fairy whale might be imparted to mortal men? We shall see, we shall see. I have to visit Bismarck soon and scrub his teeth in thanks. Perhaps the airy arts of a fairy whale might be shared with mortal men? We'll see, we'll see.
By your deeds has the blinding light been banished from these skies, and the Sin Eaters driven to retreat. Although our many hurts will be years in the mending, I have faith that this world and her people will one day be whole once more. With no rejoining in prospect, the Source need no longer fear the coming of an 8th umbral calamity.
All right, we did it.
And with that triumph, the future from which you came will no longer come to pass. Yet here you still stand.
So I do. I wonder if that other age continues onward somehow, cut adrift from time's flow. Or have I simply etched myself a place upon this new block of history? Either way, this is an unexpected development. As the summoner of your souls, my death was meant to release you back to your world. Yet I am very much alive, and you are still stuck here in the first.
I believe I speak for us all when I say that we are happy to postpone our return if it means your life is spared. We will seek out another way.
Besides, I never had any intention of rushing home. There are people here I still need to thank, and this means I might actually have time to do so.
Yet we dare not neglect our comrades in the Source. Mistress Tataru, to name but one, will be most anxious to know how things stand with us.
So, you'll just have to make the journey alone for the moment. Be sure and give a full report to our fellow scions, would you? Oh, and we'd also appreciate any news you can bring us from back home.
Then I see no reason to delay. I can open the path from here.
I imagine we each have matters demanding our attention, so let this be a farewell for us all. Send word when you've resummoned our friend. Oh, and do try to ensure he arrives within the city next time.
Of course. I shall strive for utmost accuracy. No strange forests or unplanned passengers, I promise.
I'm a little relieved, to be honest. I would have been terribly lonely if everyone had suddenly disappeared. But I understand that you have to go. Safe journey, warrior of darkness. I hope to see you again soon.
Mom?
Just a moment while I attune the portal. Then you can be on your way. When I was a boy, many long years ago, I yearned to stand tall as the heroes of Eld. But like a fool seeking to pluck the stars from the heavens, my every attempt to reprise their deeds fell short. And then one day, an all but forgotten dream from my youth stood before me in the flesh. A hero who looked at the horizon and beyond and saw I knew not what. All I knew was that I would give anything to stand at that hero's side. Would that it was so easy. The glory of the heavens was ever beyond the grasp of those who never thought to reach for it. But if I have gained anything from all of this, it is the courage to stretch out my hand. Do you hear me, Grahatia? This is no time for sleeping.
Uh-oh.
To the west gate. I want to know what's happening there.
Same as the others. Struck down with a single blow. An unfortunate day to draw guard duty.
That's an understatement.
Forgive me. These were your people.
We took advantage of this slaughter to slip into the palace. 'Tis not for me to grieve them. That was the Emperor! Wait! Ah! Your Radiance!
Gaius, you've missed your part in this, I'm afraid.
Identify yourself, demon!
You were hoping for the Ascian? The Craven shed this skin and fled, rather than face me. A pity. I was looking forward to crossing blades with myself. But I cannot deny the feeling of satisfaction. Body and soul reunited at last.
What now? The game continues, but the pieces have changed.
Only if we trust in a paragon's words. A mistake I do not intend to repeat. Gaius!
He speaks the truth. Elidibus is gone. Tore a hole into the rift. Xenos, my foolish, greedy son. Was a second life not enough? Was the Empire too rich a prize to ignore? True freedom for our nation, our people, will never be won by a spoiled princeling. The burden of this throne is beyond you.
'Tis you, father, who have struggled with this burden. Simply holding the Empire together has occupied your limited faculties. But you may take comfort in knowing that I have no intention of pursuing your tedious agenda. Nor am I interested in ruling over the Empire's lands. I came only to remove that which ruins my sport. I will not have my prey stolen by your petty wars and cowardly weapons.
You would kill me just for that.
Yeah.
I need no other reason. Any and all who interfere with my hunt will not do so twice! I heard the Ascians speak of Zodiac and Eidolon. Even the will of this star is but a construct of our own making. We shall gorge upon their strength, and then, my friend, our contest shall begin anew. Xenos!
That's not gonna end well. See if they have anything to say. Alright, let's port back to Mordona. And hello everybody who's joined us. Glad to have you on board. Let's see what these guys have to say. Ryol says, together with the Eorzean and Eastern Alliances, we've been waging our war of subterfuge in the Empire. Thancred's left big shoes to fill, but I try to fill them as best I can. Alian says, Arnvald has taken the lead in our efforts to contain the primals. He's adamant that we hold the fort, leaving you free to pursue greater matters, and the rest of us could not agree more. Isildur. Welcome, Gav. As you can see, nothing of consequence has happened while you were away. You needn't worry for us. Amy. If you're worried about the Archon's bodies, rest assured all is unchanged and well. We here continue taking turns watching over them. I don't think there's anybody else out over here. Nope. Alright, let's go talk to Tataru. But, Gav, is it really you? Hi. But how? When? We didn't think you'd be back for ages. Would you rather I went again? Oh, don't be daft. I just can't believe you're actually back. We heard the good news from your pixie friend, but nothing compares to seeing you in the flesh. As for the situation on this side, the Imperials are still eyeing our forces from afar. From what I'm told, the Garlean armies have been slow to react and seem reluctant to commit to any large-scale engagements. It's an odd sort of stalemate. Otherwise, we've yet to see any sign of that awful Black Rose weapon we were warned about. Oh, but I suppose we did call in an old friend to help out on that count. Kryl and I had a terrible time tracking him down, though it will be worth it to see the look on your face when you find out who it is. Anyway, I was just about to make contact with this helper of ours and then confirm the latest news from the front. Might you fancy having a rest while I do? Ah, the warrior of light back where he belongs, just as if nothing had happened. Though you do seem different somehow. You'll have to tell me all about your adventures when we next have a spare moment. Until then, welcome back. Grahatia, the future is where his destiny awaits. And Tomorrow and Tomorrow Orchestra Roll. It's a really pretty piece of music. Oblivion has claimed him. Emmett Silk, gone. La Habrea, gone. I alone remain, the last of the unbroken. Once more I am moved to reevaluate the potential of those tattered souls. Ah, Xenos, never did I dream you could overpower me so completely, possessed as I was of your body and all its uncanny strength. And now that I have shared with you the truth of this world and its reflections, who can predict how events will unfold? Not I. Emissary, what a poor jest that title has become. The flow of history has become muddled, its currents wild beyond my capacity to direct them. We are standing on the moon. Okay. You have wrested the advantage, Heidelin. The thieving hands of your disciples tighten their grip on our star. The origins of the world remain hidden and its inhabitants ignorant of their broken existence, just as you and your creators desired. They celebrate the gift of imperfect life, uncaring, unknowing as we weaken and fade. But do not imagine yourself rid of us. Though your champion has indeed proven the most egregious obstacle to our ascendance, a barbed thorn in my side, he may yet be removed and cast into the abyss. Oh, yes, it can be done. I will keep these heroes mired in the first, and victory will be ours at the last. Warriors of Darkness now, are they? Then their fate is decided. They shall meet the same end as those who came before, death at the hands of the Warriors of Light. Thancred says, "It seems you were right." Reen says, "Yes, there is something out there." Thancred says, "But it would mean crossing malms and malms of this infernal emptiness, which is rather unhealthy for living creatures as I understand it. Even were we to restrict ourselves to brief forays, I don't like to imagine the effect it would have on our ether." But you still want to go, don't you? We may have saved the world, but we haven't reclaimed it. Ah, when you put it that way. What choice do we have? Well, of course I'm going with you. That's what family is for, isn't it? Come, let's head back and prepare for this mad journey of ours. Thank you, Thancred. Though blazing skies give way to gentle night, what hand can end the war of dark and light? Trust party is unlocked. All right. In completing the main scenario quest Shadowbringers, you have unlocked the Trust system. Trust allows you repeat previously completed main scenario dungeons with the party of NPC avatars, who will gain experience and level up in accordance with their duty participation. To bring up the interface, select Trust under Duty from the main menu. For more information, please refer to the help found within the interface itself. Furthermore, bolstered by your experiences in the first, you are now able to accept new quests from job-related NPCs in the source. In order to access them, the following conditions must be met. Reach level 80 in a given job, done. Complete the relevant level 70 job quest, and complete the associated role quest line. Quest locations and other details may be reviewed in the level 70 job quest journal entry. In addition, quests to unlock new content have now become available in the Crystarium. Rest well, Warrior of Light and Darkness, for 2 worlds of adventure await your return. New chapter of New Game Plus has been added. Tataru says she seems eager to make up for lost time. Cav, gods, it's good to see you. I hope your being here means you've had your fill of rest. More than my fill, or not so much as 40 winks, truth be told. Cav might have been busy partying. See what that says. You're too selfless, that's your problem. But you'll be no good to anyone if you don't take a break every once in a while. Anyway. Not much has happened since your last visit. I had planned for you to meet the helper I told you about, but he refuses to answer his link pearl. I do hope he's all right. We've been exchanging messages with the Eorzean Alliance throughout, though. They say the fighting has finally stopped at the Gimlet Dark, and that the Empire has shown no sign of movement, which means we might actually have a moment to ourselves for a change. Seeing as you're back, maybe you could tell me more about your time in the First. Great, and oh, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask Flamine to join us. She'll want to know what happened to Minfilia, and I think it best she hears it from you. We'll meet you on the terrace at the House of Splendors. She have anything new to say? All right. We'll be waiting for you at the House of Splendors, and I expect you to tell us absolutely everything about your time in the First. All right. Does she have anything new? All right. Which means the others don't have anything new. My kitten is asleep on a little pad. Right next to my keypad. She's really adorable. Flamine says, Gaff, my. It has been too long. Tataru did mention that I would be joining you, did she not? Thank you. Words cannot well express how I have longed to know more of the First. This world Minfilia has sacrificed so much to save. But come, rest your feet. Tataru should be arriving shortly. And so Minfilia chose to pass on her gifts to the next oracle? This girl who Thancred named Reen? Flamine says, to have such a burden thrust upon her as a child, only to embrace it when given the choice. In that respect, they are quite alike. It would seem her legacy is indeed in capable hands. Gaff, might I ask a favor of you when next you return to the First? To tell Reen what I cannot. To tell her, thank you. Aww. That's sweet. And I would offer thanks to you as well for staying with her to the end. Begging your pardon, but could I have a word? Miriel, I hope you're here to tell me you've received word from our helper. I wish, nay. I've not had a peep out of him, and it's been a good long while now, too bloody long. On account of which, I'm going to sneak over the border and see if I can't get a signal to him from closer up. But what if they catch you? There must be another way. Well, it ain't as we can just ask Thancred to do it. Besides, I shouldn't have no trouble picking my way through Gimlet now the fighting's died down. Gods know there's enough shadows to hide in. And it beats waiting around here twiddling me thumbs. Any road, I just thought I'd let you know. Now, I'd best be... Ah, I nearly forgot. Crow's at the stones, and she wants a word. Something to do with the patients. She was getting ready to examine them again when I left. Uh-oh. We'd best head back then. I'm sure it's important. If I'd known she was gonna have to like crane her neck to look at us, I would have come over on this side. You needn't worry about me. Go and see what Krile has to say. Okay, let's go see what Krile has to say. It seems she's still examining them. Oh, I do hope it's nothing bad.
You're here. Good.
So, how are they?
Still locked in slumber, but otherwise in good physical health. For the present, at least.
Uh-oh.
For the present? Oh no, is something wrong with them?
I'm afraid there may be. I summoned you after detecting faint signs of instability in Thancred's corporeal ether. But subsequent examination suggested all 5 might be affected. And when I examined them just now, my fears were confirmed. Tellingly, the degree of instability varies between them. Thancred exhibits the most notable signs, followed by Y'shtola and Urianger. The twins' ether, meanwhile, remains relatively stable, but there is a change there too if one knows to look for it.
Hold on. Isn't that the order they were called away in?
Indeed. Which leads me to believe the instability will only increase with time. Though I can but speculate, I fear this may be a symptom of a weakening link between body and soul.
By the gods! What happens if the link is broken?
I cannot say for certain. This is all unknown territory to us. Yet whatever happens, it cannot be good. Mercifully, the instability is still only slight. And you may rest assured Master Matoya and I will do everything in our power to keep it from worsening. Be that as it may, it is imperative that you find a way to restore our friends' souls to their bodies.
No rest for the righteous, eh? Or leave it to me? Leave it to me.
Thank you.
But where's he even supposed to start? We had the greatest minds in the realm hunting high and low for an answer, and they ran out of places to look.
You stated in your report that the Exarch had originally intended to reverse the summoning process by means of his own death. correct? Raha always was a reckless young fool, ready to die for the first righteous cause that came along. His plan might well have worked, but I, for one, am glad he never had the opportunity to see it through. Even if it does mean our friends must remain stranded a while longer. There is another way, I am sure of it. And the key lies with him, with the Exarch. Pray return to the First and apprise him and the others of the situation. We, meanwhile, will do what we can from here. And, if the fates are kind, we will have good news to share upon your return.
Alright, anything new for us? Don't you worry, Master Matoya and I will think of something. Tataru says, take care over in the first gaff. We're counting on you and the Crystal Exarch to bring our friends home. Anything new? What would he say? Tataru has apprised us of the Archon's condition. Rest assured we'll do our utmost to assist Mistress Kryl in her ministrations. Anything new from Alion? Nothing new from either of them. Okay. Let's go back to the Crystarium. Now, we could go over to the node, but I just have it saved, so I don't have to go running. It's kind of annoying. Do you have business with the Crystal Exarchs? Just say the word and I would be happy to escort you to the Ocular. Yes. Ah, Gav, you are returned. I hope your time in the Source was suitably restful. But of course it wasn't. Go on. Their corporeal ether shows signs of instability. By the gods. The possibility never even occurred to me. If you have returned in the hope that my research has yielded a solution, I fear you will be sorely disappointed. 'Tis but a mercy we have the likes of Mistress Kryl and Master Matoya to keep our friends' bodies safe while we wrestle with the problem. But they cannot forestall the separation of body and soul indefinitely. Come, the others must be told.
Pray excuse my late arrival.
Will Thancred and Reen not be joining us?
Nay, milady. With apologies to all, they beg leave to pursue their investigation of the empty to its conclusion. Should matters here demand their presence, however, they did assure me that they would make themselves available.
Yes, of course. Then let us proceed. I think it best that you begin by providing a summary of Mistress Kryl's findings.
I suppose it was only to be expected that some change would occur.
Yet our souls seem unaffected. To my eye, at least. How long they will remain so is another question. Kryl is right. It is imperative we find a way to return to the source.
Perhaps an explanation of the method by which I brought you here will yield some inspiration. Ere I begin, it must be noted that I am by no means a gifted mage.
Oh, really?
In order to employ powerful magics, I must rely upon the Crystal Tower and its boundless reservoirs of energy. The magic that summoned you was no exception. 'Tis a singular spell, adapted through painstaking effort from the technique that transported me to the first. To use an analogy, it works by cutting a hole in the fabric of reality. A hole tailored to the object of summoning, through which it and it alone may pass unscathed. Though I succeeded in creating said hole, I failed to latch onto my intended target. Instead of you, the spell found those close to you, and ended up summoning them in their incomplete state. I would not soon throw my life away, not after the lengths you and yours went to save it. And so long as I breathe, I will spare no effort to see you safely home. But should all else fail, and your lives be at stake, there remains one sure method.
His death, of course.
Oh. What was that for?
How can you even entertain such thoughts? You owe your life to the Warrior of Light, and you don't get to die unless he says so.
Your followers await your divine judgment.
What did you just...
If the two of you have finished, perhaps we could return to our discussion? Rather than dwelling upon the multiple failed attempts at transference, I think it would behoove us to focus on the solitary success. I would draw your attention to the fact that our friend can travel between worlds possessed not only of his body and soul, but his personal effects besides. This is no different from the teleportation magics to which we are all accustomed. Magics that allow for the transportation of those inanimate objects one considers to be an extension of oneself.
Are you suggesting that simply by considering us his possessions, he could carry our souls back to the source upon his person?
Well, it would be nice if things were that simple for a change.
Right?
But vague notions of ownership seem a rather tenuous thing to stake our lives on. So much as a moment of doubt on his part, and we'd be left floating in the rift.
Milady hath the right of it. The requisite fixity of belief would be too much to ask even of our friend. Yet, were we to immure our souls within an object in his possession, mayhap then our safe passage could be assured. White Auracite would, I believe, serve as a suitable vessel for this purpose. It was conceived to imprison the massy soul of an Ascian, and should house one of ours with relative ease. We would need only to ensure our soul's safe preservation inside the stone, and identify a means by which they might be transferred back onto our vacant bodies.
Soul preservation and transference. I believe I know of someone who may be able to assist us. On the far shore of the source, there stands a great palace built by the elves. It was forsaken in the wake of the flood, but a certain Numo chose to make their home there soon after. Though they have long lived as a recluse, they once occupied a place of honor in Verbert's royal court, and it is said that none in all of Norvrand is more knowledgeable than they on matters of the soul.
Well, I've no objection to seeking a helping hand, but if they've gone to such lengths to hide themselves away from the world, what makes you think they'd be willing to lend us one?
A worthy question. Years ago, I myself tried and failed to solicit their cooperation in the battle against the Sin Eaters. No sooner had I begun to make my plea than they unleashed a swarm of their familiars upon me. Unlike me, however, you have curried favor with the Fae folk. By that merit alone, I am hopeful that they would grant you an audience. They may still be inclined to turn you away, of course, but if their knowledge might feasibly facilitate your return home, we have to try.
Okay. You target alleys, eh? I'm sick and tired of the Exarch's attempts at selfless sacrifice. If he suggests dying one more time, I swear I'm going to grant him his wish. Stola says, a mage of surpassing skill living a life of seclusion. Now, where have I heard that before? One can only hope they are more receptive to unsolicited visitations. Alfino says, the new Mu seemed such a welcoming folk in Ilmeg. What do you suppose could have driven this one to a life of seclusion? Urianger says, 'Tis said the kingdom of Verbert was once home to the realm's greatest knights and magics both. To command a place at the royal court, the new Mu whom we seek must needs have been a mage among mages. Okay, so to command a place in the royal court, the new Mu who we seek out must have been a mage among mages. The Crystal Exarch would waste no time in seeking help for your stranded comrades. The Grand Cosmos, that is, the palace we seek, stands on the opposite shore of the source. I will arrange for a boat to carry us there. Urianger says, whilst thou journeyest thither, I think it best that I devote mine energies to the creation of white orisite. By thy leave, of course. The process requireth no small amount of time, and should the new Mu consent to lend us their aid, we will have need of a suitable vessel ere long. Alright, while you all journey forth, I think it's best if I devote my energies to making white orisite. You know, with your leave, of course. The process requires no small amount of time, and if the new Mu consent to lending us their aid, we'll have to have a suitable vessel before long. Agreed. Then I would ask the rest of you to meet me in Sullen, and do be prepared for a warm reception. Urianger have anything else for us? Pray, join the others in Sullen. I shall turn my thoughts to the orisite and apprise Thancred and Reen of our progress. Let's go over to Fort Job. That's probably the fastest way. I think we can fly now. No, we cannot. Oh, missing a blue quest anywhere. I am not missing any blue quests or ether currents, so this is supposed to be tied to some kind of quest. I don't know. All right. then I'm going to hop off and get on the Fenrir, which goes faster than any other mountain. I hope you all are having a good day today. We are getting ready for a major, major winter storm coming our way soon. Friday is when the fun starts. Now, I grew up up north. Like north. And so I'm okay driving in snow, but they're talking about like 8 to 12 inches. Which is a third of the meter for those of you who speak metric. And that's a lot of snow, especially now that I live in the south where they don't have, because they don't get snow very often. And certainly an event like this is, you know, can be a generational kind of event. So they don't have any snow removal equipment. And so it's going to be an adventure seeing how things go. And then it's supposed to stay very cold. Like, we're getting down to 0 for the actual temperature, and then something like a -20 for the wind chill. That's like insanely cold for this part of the world. So it's not going to warm up all next week. So the snow that we do get isn't going to melt. You know, usually it snows here and like 2 days later it warms up and it all melts away, and, you know, people go about their business, right? But no, we're going to have snow, a lot of it, and it's going to stay around a while. Yustola says, he said the palace is on the opposite shore, but I see nothing on the horizon save empty sky. Curious. Alize says, the Exarch said to prepare for a warm reception at the palace. Let's hope it's more cordial than his last visit. Right? Alphino says, I was relieved to hear the Exarch intended to arrange for a boat to carry us across the lake. Not that I would be opposed to swimming, mind you. Hey, babe. So what? Yeah, go for it. Just a moment. And we're back. Sorry, hubby had to grab his computer. He's not feeling well at all today, so he's home. So I hope he gets well soon. Crystal Exarchos. As I told you before, I had scarcely set foot on the palace grounds when I was set upon by our host's familiars. and I expect our reception today to be no different, which is why I propose we march through the main gate, weapons drawn. Allie says, I'm sorry, but are we not here to petition for assistance? You can't honestly think barging in looking for a fight is going to persuade them. Stoll says, actually, I believe the Exarch might have the right of it. They have no doubt poured a great deal of time and energy into their creations. Were I them, I should be most interested to meet with those who could overcome my defenses. The Exarch says, as would any true seeker of knowledge, and there is little we can say or do to convince them to help us if we know nothing of their character, nor less why they chose to hide themselves from the world. But if we can seize their interest, mayhap we can earn ourselves an audience. Yep. Weapons drawn it is, then. Though I must say, Exarch, you certainly seem to be enjoying all of this. Hey, it's not wrong. Do I? Well, I will not deny that I enjoy the thought of fighting alongside you all rather than pacing about inside the Crystal Tower. Elfino says, you both seem to be in rather high spirits, if you ask me. Not that I'm surprised. Your moods invariably improve when Gav is around. What exactly are you implying? Crystal Exarch says, he averted a calamity, and the light which seemed destined to consume him has been extinguished. 'Tis only natural that we be pleased to see him. Yashol says, yes, well, you will have plenty of time to celebrate his good health after we're finished here. The Exarch says, of course. Then let us proceed to the palace. All right, the Grand Cosmos now available. So we got a new duty right off the bat. Small talk. It's good to be here with you for a change. Whatever you would have me do, you need but say the word. Elfino says, how long has it been since we last went on such an expedition? I cannot help but be reminded of the ruins of Scala. Ishtola says, I can but imagine what manner of beasts keep guard here. No doubt they will afford us scant opportunity to explore the palace. A pity. Ellie says, small talk. I think we're done enough talking, don't you? We have a new mood to impress. Checking to see if anybody in the FC wants to do the dungeon or if I'll do it with the NPCs. Hang on, guys. I gotta fix something real quick. I can't stop streaming there. You know, I'm not a professional videographer, so sometimes these things, like, just... confuse me. Hi! Wanted to know if you wanted to do the Grand Cosmos. Anyway, I'm glad you got it sorted. Oh, you happy kitty? Yes, you are. All right. Oh, that was quick pop. Insta-Q. Apparently it's starting to rain. You know, my umbrella's out. This should be fun. If you value your lives, you'll quit this place at once. Now this level is where it gets really a lot more fun to play our jobs. You got a lot more tools in your kit. Looks like Lumiere in the shadow there on that candlestick. That's a cute touch. Somebody's a Disney fan. I have not, you know, I've done this dungeon a number of times. I had not seen that before. Just shows you how many subtle details they put into all this stuff. What I'm doing is building my stacks here. Because that'll let me enshroud more often. I can, you know, stay out of the AoE stuff. Stay out of poo. Which is nice. I got a full bar for my enshrouds. These broomsticks off to the side do their thing periodically. It's nice that we have an instant enshroud. See these circles on the ground? You want to stay out of them. So you got to dodge broomsticks coming from a variety of directions. They create little wings. This is one of the reasons why you want a hotkey instead of clicking, if you can at all learn how to do that. You know, use keybinds. Because you can hit your off global cooldown skills, your OGCDs, a lot faster. I have my camera looking down. Ooh, I need to get my deaths design back up. I got my camera looking down. To see the ground better. Right, that lets me see the circles a lot better. This is so pretty in here. I go collect the treasure coffers because number one, some of the gear's fun. It's pretty. And number two, I turn them in for Grand Company seals or desynthesize them. I was wondering how much they were going to pull. Now you can see this big circle here. That's not a damage AoE. That's actually the ninja's buff, and I can't remember what the name of it is right off the top of my head. Like, for the longest time, I thought it was something I had to stay out of, till a friend of mine said, hey, no, that's just the ninja buff. So I went, oh, okay. Oh, I burned that one accidentally. We want to get these things off grass. If I can click it. See, the little seedlings die on cracked earth because they can't get any water. Oh. I did hit my bloodbath there. Where's the other one? Where's the other one? Where's the other one? Oh my god. Alright, I can stand there and hold on to it. We need to kill this sprout thing. Otherwise they do damage. Okay, or we killed the boss. That works too. I decided to use the shroud here because I'm pretty sure we're going to build enough to fill up the bar again. And you don't want to, like, waste it, right? There's no point in that. Nice little dinner. I guess some shades here. I like how they come out of the portraits there. Sir Mothbert? Sir in the Red? Sir Javith, okay. I'm going to be able to get 5 more. Or close to it. See, 4 or 5. When I got a keybind, that's faster than you can click 2 skills. Okay, so very important. And it's, you know, I had to learn how to do it. I got a cutscene here. You have sullied these halls long enough. Come, Lugus, our guests, yet want for company. Scorching right, we want to be to his left. We want to put this over by some furniture, named items there. Okay, we take this as far, stretch that line out. Preferably away from items. Because you really need those items. We want to stay out of this fire. You know what? I messed that up. I should have not put the fire down there on that item. I forgot. Scorching left. We want to be on this right. I work backwards. Stretch the line out. Face him away from anything that can be set on fire. We're gonna get away from that. Scorching right, let's be on his left. Alright, we did it. Alright. They have cute outfits on. Joy. The ear wiggle of joy. Oh. Everybody left. I got a sticker for that. No, I got a reroll chance. Second chance point for that. Because I was new. Let me go back up by these folks. Sometimes they have a little pop-up. Now they have little choice but to hear our plea. Perhaps now we have afforded ourselves an audience. Phew, I'm glad for that to be over and done with. We best leave the negotiations to Alphino and the Exarch. Yeah, right? For sure.
That was my fiercest familiar. Oh, impressive.
Backlook, 'tis good to see you again after all these years. And judging by your vigorous greeting, I dare say the feeling is mutual. To be sure, a simple shake of the hand would have sufficed by way of welcome, but I shan't complain. But you must be wondering as to the purpose of our visit. We come to beg your assistance in a most urgent matter.
Shake? Beg?
Our comrades' very souls are in danger. If we are to save them, we will need the benefit of your unsurpassed knowledge on the matter. Please, will you not sit and hear our plea?
Mom? Notice I was saying shake, beg, and sit emphatically. There's a reason.
Oh, how dare you! How dare you speak thus in my presence! It was to escape such words of temptation that I hid myself from the world of men. You are sinners, one and all, and I swore never again to have any part in your affairs.
I can only imagine what terrible events forced you into a life of seclusion. But I know that the Numo are a good and noble folk. It is not in your nature to turn a blind eye to the plight of those around you. And in treating with us, I am certain whatever mistrust you feel for man will begin to heal.
Alphino figured something out too.
If you will not be satisfied, I suppose I could listen. After all, there's no harm in just... No, I mustn't. Not again. That damn court mage seemed to have the best of intentions too, and countless innocents died for my naivety. Oh, you know not what you ask of me, what horrors my knowledge has wrought.
Refuse all you want. We won't lie down and accept defeat. Or we would never misuse it. I'm gonna go with the latter, even though we should probably use lie down.
You wish only to save your friends? Nothing more? Do you swear it?
No. No.
Oh, very well. I will hear your petition, but that is all. And I expect fitting payment for my troubles.
Commensurate with your contribution to our cause. No more and no less, I promise you. With that settled, might I impose upon you to join us at the Crystarium? I'm afraid the nature of my friend's predicament calls for absolute secrecy.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, my daughter had a question. So thank you for the momentary pause there. Elfino says, there you are. The others have gone ahead to the Crystal Tower with Beck Vlug. For the record, I truly wish we hadn't had to resort to using such words when treating with them. I have ever sought to convince, not compel, yet I cannot deny that a part of me is glad Urianger shared his knowledge of the new Mu with us. Had he not, Beck Vlug wouldn't be here. Speaking of whom, we should hurry. To keep our guest waiting would only add insult to injury. You may now enter the Grand Cosmos with a party of NPC avatars. To make use of the feature, open the Trust interface, located under Duty in the main menu. Okay. Elfino looks just about ready to leave you behind. We mustn't dally here any longer, Gav. If Beck Vlug is to hear the truth of our trails in the first, you of all people should be present. Okay. That was a fun little dungeon. Making sure we didn't have any blue quests pop up. Alright, let's go back to the Crystarium. Do business with the Crystal Exarch, just say the word and I would be happy to escort you to the Ocular. Yes, please. Ah, the detailing in here is amazing.
sorry. You mean to tell me not only that the return of night was your doing, but that you hail from another world as well?
Yeah. Yes, actually, that's the case.
Everything we told you, of the source, the shards, the 7 umbral calamities, all of it is true. I realize how fantastical it sounds, and I would not blame you for doubting our testimony. But given your expertise, you must surely have noted the peculiar nature of their souls.
Any other time and I would have dismissed your stories as balderdash and flummery. But upon closer inspection, 'tis plain their souls are far denser than is normal, and that they do not possess true bodies. Save you. Your body is your own, and your soul is the densest of them all.
As I said before, were it not for their heroism, the skies over Norvrant would still be awash with light, the realm yet at the mercy of FFXIV and the Sin Eaters. After all they have done for our home, seeing them safely back to their own seems the very least we can do.
Your tale is intriguing. Yes, very intriguing indeed. Simply to hear it is fitting payment in itself.
Oh.
As for your friends, I can but agree. Their valorous deeds on behalf of Norvrant are deserving of recognition, of their own fitting payment.
You will help us then?
I will. I would see my knowledge put to good use for a change. I do have one condition, however. I am not the spry young Numo I once was. As such, I will require assistance in my fieldwork and testing.
It would be our pleasure. We'll be laboring for our own benefit after all.
Yeah, of course. Alright, let's see what everybody else has to say. Y'shtola says, did you happen to notice the magicked brooms strewn about the Grand Cosmos? Uncanny. Elfino says, Beck-Flug has a fine eye. Though we have yet to begin, I rather think the Exarch was right to call on them. Elise says, I sometimes forget we're not truly here in the first. It would be good to be whole again. The Exarch says, fortunately for us, Beck-Flug is of a mind to see you and your fellow scions justly compensated for your efforts. You have spun quite a tale, but tell me, have you given any thought as to how you might return to your world? White Orosite, you say? An intriguing proposition. But one which fails to account for the present state of your souls. They have become highly charged, likely as a consequence of having maintained tangible forms for so long. In such an energetic, unstable state, there is no telling what might happen to their souls within the Orosite. They could very well become immutable to transference, never to be restored to their bodies. Then, would it be possible to force our souls into a state of dormancy prior to transference? In theory, yes, but the soul is not a candle to be snuffed out and relit on a whim. Well, that sounds ominous. What exactly would rendering our souls dormant entail? In order to maintain a corporeal form, your souls constantly draw ether from your surroundings. This process must be halted, and the resulting surfeit of ether removed. Your minds would ultimately be separated from those faux bodies of yours, rendering you incapable of interacting with the world around you. A cruel fate under normal circumstances, but one which will be rectified upon your return home. Leaving lifeless husks, like those poor souls at the inn at Journey's Head, corrupted by the Sin Eaters, their ether made stagnant by the light. Corrupted? Stagnant? Might I see these unfortunate individuals? Crystal Exarch says, why? Do you think you might be able to help them? I might, or I might not, but I shan't know for sure until I have seen their condition firsthand. Elise says, then I would be glad to take you to them, on the understanding that you won't do anything that might increase their suffering. It was my faith in man I lost, not my compassion. Ishtal says, well, I see no need for all of us to accompany you. While you escort your guests to the inn, I will assist Urianger in creating the requisite oversight. Exarch says, I believe my talents would be better applied to that endeavor as well. Might I leave the three of you to assist Becklug as necessary? Alfino says, let us make for Amarang then. Stola says, Urianger is more than capable of creating the oversight on his own, but if aught should go awry, I would be on hand to assist him. Exarch says, it pains me that there are those who yet suffer despite our victory over the light. We must hope a way can be found to help both them and our friends. Let's go to Amarang. Elric mumbles. Elise says, Pick-Luke told me that I wished to meet the worst afflicted. Elric, there are times when I swear there's something he wants to tell me, if only he could form the words. Alfino says, having broken Light's stranglehold on the first, I would like to believe they would one day recover, yet I fear that day may not come soon. So, this is Helric, is it? Yes, his etheric balance leans perilously toward the light. Toward stasis. What do you suppose will happen to him? Not too bright, are you, boy? The same as all poor souls corrupted by the light. He will become a sin-eater. Elise says, you don't know that. We've defeated the wardens and banished the light from the night sky. Helric was completely unresponsive before, but now... Mumble. Then perhaps there is yet hope. If I may, there is a treatment I wish to administer to the patients. What sort of treatment? In the course of my studies of the soul, I once created a tonic which could temporarily stimulate the ether in one's body. After some refinement, it came to be used by the Knights of Verbert. Then, for far darker purposes, lest it fall into the wrong hands, I swore never again to make it, but for their sakes, I will break that oath. It is not like to reverse the stagnation, mind you, but it should offer some measure of relief. Let us see what effect my tonic will have on their ether, if any. Alright, treat the patients with soul tonic. Soul tonic, the potent tonic invented by Beck-Lug during the time of Verbert, is said to revitalize the soul both figuratively and literally. What is this warmth I feel in my chest? Target not in range. Turn half a degree away. It doesn't let you do anything. Todden stares blankly at you. It would seem the tonic has had no effect. Mumble. Oh. Where's the other one? Over across the way here. Come now, you mustn't fret. I feel warm, and my legs, they don't feel as heavy. You know what, I can, let's get the XP on Summoner there. Now then, excuse me. Now then, have you noticed any change in the patients? Alfino says, a notable rise in body temperature and increased motor function, in most of the patients at least. Alice says, the more severely afflicted showed no response. As I feared then. 'Tis true that with the restoration of night, the corrupting influence of light will no longer grow, and yes, their bodies will naturally return to equilibrium given time, but this holds true only for their corporeal ether. Their incorporeal ether, that of the soul, is not so easily mended. Which is why those in the latter stages of corruption, like Halric, appear unaffected by your tonic. Precisely. The boy's soul is too far gone, his mind held together by the finest of threads. There is a chance he may one day recover, of course, but it would take years, decades even. By the gods, he could wake to find himself an old man. Alfino says, a fine reward for his persistence, the opportunity to mourn the life he never had a chance to live. Alize says, no, there must be something we can do. Look, I realize this is not why we petitioned your aid, but do you think it possible we can find a way to hasten the recovery? Maybe? Nor do I think it impossible that in treating them we might learn something of relevance to your own predicament. I have, like, way better food than any of this, so I'm taking the Night World silver piece. Did they just say what I think they said? Might there really be a way to help Halric and the others, and help ourselves in the process? Corporeal and incorporeal ether. I confess I had never had cause to make the distinction. Beck-Lug is ready to speak of the metaphysical. Gav is going, this is like way over my head. Way over my ears. I suspect the Crystal Exarch has told you of my past, that I was once a mage of the royal court of Verbert, and that soulcraft was my field of study. The tonic you administered to the patients here is one of the fruits of my labors. I hoped to do great things for the kingdom. But in the end, My knowledge brought only suffering, a plague the like of which none had ever seen. In the hands of unscrupulous men, what should have been my greatest triumph instead became my greatest shame. You could say we mustn't dwell in the past, and now you have a chance to redeem yourself. Gav's always ever hopeful. That I too, a comforting thought indeed. But let us return to the task at hand, finding a means by which we might revitalize these people's incorporeal ether. Elfino says, do you think it can be done? Were the skies still ablaze with primordial light, I would call it an exercise in futility. But now we may have a chance. The method I have in mind will entail the conjuring of a familiar. They are able to amplify the energies poured into them, making them the perfect conduit for the ether-revitalizing magics we will ultimately employ. Alize says, if you're about to launch into a lengthy explanation of the metaphysics of your plan, don't bother. I'd rather get on with doing whatever it is that needs to be done, and if it's all the same to you. Alize, ever ready to go on. Whatever your reagents must be procured or spells invoked, I'll do it. I admire your spirit. Very well, your first task will be to gather the necessary materials. The purest of waters and finest of clays, as well as the Fey lantern brimming with pixie magic. Alize says, if you're convinced the resulting familiar could help the patients, fine. Now, if you know the water and clay will be simple enough, but I think you know what we'll have to do to get the lantern. You don't mean... The pixies took quite a liking to us before. If we humor them with our company, I'm sure they'll be willing to help us. He's going, yeah, right. Fine. We'll pay a visit to Il Meg, though I never thought you would be the one to suggest going back there. I'm impressed you've been there at all, let alone befriended the Fey folk. Oh, while you're about it, seek out the Numu of Pla Eni. They will be able to supply you with water suitable for our needs. Ali says, right, let's get this over with then, shall we? There still remains the matter of the clay. Might I prevail upon you to find it? Sure. Clay from Amarang would likely be best. Know you of anyone who might be able to assist us? I could ask the miners at Twine. Well, there are the scavengers of Mord Sook. I think asking the miners at Twine would be safer. Ah, yes, they will be able to point you in the right direction, I am sure. While you and the twins are occupied, I will see if there's aught else I can learn of the stagnation which afflicts the people here. See you have anything else? I have no doubt that the miners of Twine can help you find what you need. Alright. Speak with Magnus. Just in case we get in combat. Sometimes I wish we'd never got that trolley running again. Now Jarek wants more of the bloody things and refuses to shut up about it. I can't stop thinking about that giant Talos we built. Can you imagine what it would do with a matching trolley? It feels like a waste not to build one. Gav, well, what a coincidence. Daff says, you come at a good time. We've just this moment finished repairing the Talos and trolley you lot took to Nabath the Rang. Magnus says the trolley was no trouble, but the Talos would have been another matter had we not had a visit from Master Chai. He offered us a share of the leftover building material from Daedalus Stoneworks, as well as a few trade secrets to help us along. Jarek says, clever man, that Chai news. He seemed pretty keen on the ideas I had for putting the giant Talos to work. Like a giant trolley. But Magnus still refuses to see all the good that we could do with it. Staff says, "You're entitled to your dreams, Jarek, but that doesn't mean you can go harassing our guests with them. Master Chai was just being polite." Magnus says, "And something tells me Gav here didn't come all the way to talk about trolleys. What is it you need, friend?" Just mud." Just mud. "I see, and this familiar requires clay from Amarang." Trick says, "Well, look no further. If anyone can find some quality clay, it's us." Staff says, "Saying that, it isn't exactly a commodity nowadays, but there must be some lurking around somewhere or the other, waiting to be dug up." Magnus says, "If I'm not mistaken, there was a time when they used to take clay from Mount Buren mines to make adobe bricks. Place is swarming with coyotes now, but if you're after the good stuff, you could do worse than to look there." Alright. And to save myself a bunch of aggro time, let's go over to the Mount Buren mines. I think I can fly here too. Alright. Oh, that's pretty sky. I think there's some on the other side of this rock. I could be wrong. Yep, there it is. It's pretty music. Back to Journey's the inn at Journey's Head. Alfino says, "The pixies were constantly confusing me with Alice. In jest, I assume. I mean, it's not as if we look that much alike. We, don't look that much alike, do we?" Yeah, kinda actually you do. "That had better be the only thing we need from the pixies. If I have to endure one more prank, so help me gods." "The twins have returned, and in one piece at that. I was convinced the pixies would turn at least one of them into a garden ornament, but no." "You have the clay, I take it?" "Pristine clay, finely grained soil material found in Amarang." "Wonderful. We need but combine the clay and the water, then heat the mixture with the Fey lantern. After that, it will be a simple matter of settling into upon a suitable form and performing the necessary incantation." "Beklug, I have a question. In the event that we had need of this spell and you weren't around, would it be possible for another to perform the incantation?" "Assuming they possess the requisite skill, yes." Alicia says, "Halric and the others have suffered so much, and I swore to do everything in my power to save them. If there is a chance the spell could do that, I would be the one to invoke it." Mayhap you should be the one to do so. A deep understanding of the subject's physical state, combined with a strong desire to help them, can drastically increase the magic's effect. And you are plainly more familiar with these people than I. Alfino says, I dare say there are few in all of Norvrant more dedicated to finding a cure. Is that not so, Gav? Absolutely, she's the best woman for the job, or very few, but if aught should go awry, I'll see what I can do. I'll give it my all. For Halric. For Tesleen. Bekalug says, then we are all of a mind in the matter. Alize shall be the one to conjure the familiar.
Let us begin. I trust you've prepared the clay? Very good. Now, I would have you sculpt for me a porksy. Plump, with floppy ears and a short curly tail.
A little pig.
A porksy. I think I know what you mean. There we are. How's that?
Well, it is certainly creative. There's no denying that.
Guess good. Alfino.
Yes, yes, I'm no artist. Very funny.
Pay him no mind, child. Though it may look like a grotesque parody of reality, it is what the invoker believes that matters.
You're not helping.
But I speak the truth. If successful, this incantation will turn imagination into reality. Which is why the only thing of import is what you believe this figure embodies. You must focus. Hold the Porksy's image steady in your mind's eye. Now then, as I taught you, relax and allow your energies to flow.
With flesh of clay I bid thee rise, on wings of dreams to touch the skies. What once was idle fantasy, I call forth to reality.
God.
Not bad for a first attempt. Now, let us see what can be done for young Halric.
Alfino's explaining to Halric.
Through the operation of the magics you invoked to animate this familiar, it is now replete with the energies required to stir the boy's soul. You need but give it a name, and it will do as your heart desires.
A name. right. I've decided. Now. Go, Angelo!
Mother, I...
The girl's resolve is quite impressive. One might almost think she drew strength from another. By the 12, though it was only for a moment, he spoke. There may yet be hope for these people. How is he, Beck-Luke? Did it work? I believe it did. You and your fledgling familiar have done well. If my eyes do not deceive, a hint of color has returned to his soul. Gods, I would jump for joy if I wasn't so exhausted. We're so close now, Halric. Beck-Luke says, as you are even now in the process of discovering this, magic asks much of the invoker. What you may not have realized is that the same is also true of the subject. As such, we must proceed with caution. However, with further treatment, I have the utmost confidence the boy will make a full recovery. Observing the reanimation of his stagnant soul has been most enlightening. I will need time to put my theories to the proof, but I believe I can fashion a spell to produce the opposite effect. That is, to induce stagnation. Alphanos is thus enabling our safe transport back to the source via Orosite. Alize says, a thought occurred to me about this treatment. Beck-Luke said when the soul is rendered dormant, the mind is separated from the body, that a person becomes incapable of interacting with the world around them. Does that not sound a lot like some of the tempered back in the source? Alphino says, not really. It is the fate of most tempered to become slaves to primals, save in a handful of cases. Or am I missing something? If I can master this technique, the art of revitalizing the soul, I know of at least one in the source who could desperately use such treatment. Gabu. Exactly. His condition is uncannily similar to Halric's, is it not? The only difference being that his soul was suffused with earth-aspected ether instead of light. It follows that if his soul is subject to the similar kind of stagnation, there may be a chance we can save him. Right? Beck-Luke says, forgive me, but who is this Gabu fellow of whom you speak? I see, his condition does sound familiar, yet there is much and more about the soul that remains unknown even to me. I say this not to discourage you, you understand, but to remind you that this is delicate work we do here. Work requiring patience. Of course, and as long as there is hope for the patients here, I will devote whatever time is needed to see this through. But I refuse to spend that time in idleness. If it's all the same to you, I'd like to stay here with Angelo and continue with their treatment. The two of you should go back to the Crystarium with Beck-Luke and see if you can't make some headway with their newly posited theories. Becklug says, I would tell you to rest first, but I see you're not to be convinced. Ah, the fire of youth. Alfino says, let us return to the Crystarium then. Finally, I've found you. Kaishir, what are you doing all the way out here? There's trouble back in Yulmore. Lady Chai's beside herself, sighing, pacing, the whole lot. Near enough begged me to go and find you. Sighing and pacing, you say? It must be urgent. Becklug says, I take it I will be returning to the Crystarium alone. Go on then, it's not as if I had anything for you to do. Thank you, Becklug. Sorry for bothering you and all that, but she says the future of Yulmore's at stake. Ellie says, the future of Yulmore is at stake, is it? Well, do for them what you can, but keep an eye on Alfino, would you? See to it he doesn't involve himself more than is necessary. Alfino says, whatever could be so urgent for Lady Chai to summon us thus? Kaishir is anxious to see you and Alfino back to Yulmore. Lady Chai's up in the parlor. Best not keep her waiting, eh? Can I travel to Yulmore now? Yes, I can. All right. I have to go work on clearing out the garage for the upcoming winter storm, because we don't want to leave our cars parked outside with 12 inches of snow and sub-zero wind chills. So I am going to give you a cat joke for today. We always do our cat jokes. If you're having fun, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that jazz. I'm going to work on some more solo duties for the playlist there. What do you call a cat wearing shoes? That's not really right. No, let's skip that. It's Puss in Boots for the answer, but that makes no sense. That's a dumb one. Alright, how is a cat like a coin? It has a head on one side and a tail on the other. Okay. Alright, cats and kittens, on that note, have a great one. And, you know, check out the playlists. And we hope to see you again soon. MamaCatGamer signing out.